What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Fragrance Speedrunning. This time, we're going to be trying some samples from the house of Thameen. Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, hello, my name is Max, and well, today we're just going to be blind sampling some fragrances I have absolutely no idea about. The only thing I know about the house of Thameen is that they have a pretty famous, I think, oud wood adjacent fragrance called carved oud. That's not in these fragrance samples today, but the reason why I want to sample Thameen is because I'm a massive fan of amouage, particularly the Christopher Chong era amouages. And for those of you that don't know, Christopher Chong left amouage as the creative director and joined Thameen. And today we're going to be sampling mostly fragrances from his run as creative director at Thameen London. First off, I just want to thank you guys so much for the massive support on this fragrance channel. I've been having so much fun making the videos for this, especially the blind sampling videos, because I just like sharing first impressions. I think it's one of the most enjoyable aspects of perfume, you know, smelling something new and just seeing how you react to it. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to be ranking my amouage collection from worst to best, or I guess least loved to most loved. We'll see what I go with when I hit 5,000 subs. So if you do enjoy this video, be sure to hit the like button, hit the sub button, and let's get right into trying some of these Thameens. So the way that I went about just picking these samples is I basically looked up what year Christopher Chong started being creative director. I looked up the first release, and then I just went from his first release all the way through up until the latest release, and I picked the ones that looked most interesting to me. I guess we'll just start with the one that isn't really Christopher Chong, I don't believe, Regent Leather. Sounds like it's going to be a leather fragrance to me. Regent Leather, ooh. Okay, it's strong, I can tell you that. It just hit me in the face. Oh, this is sort of not what I expected at all. This is pretty sweet. It has this powderiness actually in the air. It kind of instantly reminded me a little bit there of Dior Homme Parfum. Maybe there's iris in this. Yeah, it's very sweet, sort of almost almondy to me. I'm not getting much leather, at least right now. I kind of expected something a lot more darker, a lot more heavy and gritty. Maybe it's different on skin. We'll see which one I spray on skin at the end of this video, but I'm getting some like vanilla, irisy, powdery. The leather here is coming across as like suede, like a smoother suede leather. I would consider this to be fairly easygoing when it comes to leather fragrances. It is getting a little smoother. It is getting a little more body as it dries down on strip. But yeah, this is really not what I was expecting. I do like the smell. I think this overall comes off as pretty elegant. It does have a lot of push to it. It doesn't smell overly synthetic or anything. There's a hint of maybe some fruitiness behind this sort of powdery, almondy, sort of vanillic sweetness. So lemon, saffron, cardamom, jasmine, rose, vanilla, animal notes. No. Cedar, labdanum, gurgeon balsam, patchouli, and musk. Huh. Well, interestingly enough, leather isn't listed at all. So that would explain why I'm not getting much leather. And I'm sort of reaching for calling it even suede. I'm not really getting many florals. So yeah, Regent Leather, not much of a leather, I have to say. Very elegant. I'll give this a 7 out of 10. All right, next one up is going to be Center Stage. I have to say, I really don't have any idea what I'm smelling here. Nothing is immediately jumping out as me as like identifiable or even easily describable. The name is intriguing. Center Stage. You know, if I were to make a fragrance called Center Stage, I would want something almost impossible to ignore, you know? I want something unique. I want something that stands out, completely attention grabbing. If I smelled this at like a Macy's in passing, I would just say, oh, that's cool, and I would just leave the store. The scent profile is very confusing. I'm getting this slightly dusty, maybe ambery, slightly citrusy in a way. There's something sharp in the top. There's something dusty. There's something warm. There's got to be something in here I can't smell. Some sort of aroma chemical, because I'm really having a hard time picking this up. Maybe it needs skin badly. But yeah, Center Stage. 5 out of 10 for me. I don't really think it fulfills the name. It's not immediately grabbing my attention off the strip as well. It's kind of, it feels sort of sloppy, actually. Yeah, not impressed. All right, next up is Coronet. Same thing, 2 sprays on this test strip. Again, no idea what this could be. Don't know the perfumer. No clue. I only know the perfumer for Bold as Love, Pierre Negrin. I'm excited for that one coming up. Okay, let's see. Okay, immediate. This is, if this isn't an incense, I'll be surprised. This is coming across as very liturgical Catholic sort of incense to me. I've smelled this many times. I have to say, I've smelled this many times, almost exactly like this. Yes, it's dry, it's dusty, it has that sort of gritty incensey thing. It's smoky, it's wispy, it's sort of ambery. It does come across as a bit of a churchy incense. It kind of faintly reminds me of Healy by Cardinal, but a little darker. Same thing as Incense Avignon by Comme des Garçons. We have cypress, pink pepper, juniper berry, rose, geranium, sage, frankincense, amber, smoke, vetiver, and oud. I don't get any oud. It has that, yes, it has that sort of green, almost Kyoto by Comme des Garçons incense and you know, cypressy greenness combination. I wouldn't say this is terribly unique. I would say I've definitely smelled something like this before. It's very nice. Don't get me wrong. It's very nice, but I'm going to have to give this a 7 because I just think I just wouldn't gravitate towards something like this. All right, next up is Chords. Same thing, 2 sprays on this strip. Before I smell it, Chords, the name, I want something making a chord on a guitar. I want, you know, all the notes in harmony, okay? That's what I want from this. I want a nice, harmoniously constructed perfume. That's like, it smells like grape cough syrup. It smells like medicinal grape cough syrup, or kind of like grape Jolly Rancher. I need to smell this more. Hold on. This is a weird one. Calming down a little bit, and it's more it's leathery. There's a leatheriness to this. There's something else in here that's sweet. There's a fruity note. It's a distinct fruity note, but is it fruit? Could be like orange blossom. There could be like, I don't know, like honey. Maybe it's a honey leather. It kind of reminds me very distantly of like Francesca Bianchi. You know, actually, this kind of reminds me of a Floris. This reminds me of Floris Honey Oud. A little bit. I'm going to see what other people are saying about it, actually. Okay, so the notes. As per Fragrantica. Bergamot, orange blossom. Okay, yeah. Neroli. Honey. Tobacco, ylang-ylang, leather, cypriol. Yeah, there's a cypriol-ness, I guess, and cedarwood. But yeah, I kind of like this. It's unique. I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. I do think it's pretty interesting as a leather fragrance. All right, guys, next one up is Bold as Love. And this one I am anticipating the most out of, I would say, all of these. Because this one is perfumed by Pierre Negrin. And I think Pierre Negrin is a fantastic perfumer. Ooh, whoa. Ooh. I'm getting like fruitiness. Like a orangey, sort of bright, pulpy. It's like a pulpiness. I don't know. This is very strange. It's like an orangey, fruity, definitively pulpy in a citrusy way smell. Sort of slightly boozy to my nose with some, I'm not sure if it's rum or whiskey or something. Maybe pineapple? Very vaguely pineapple. Kind of reminding me of Frederick Malle Music for a While, but like not ethyl maltoled to death. You know, I love Music for a While, but it's pretty sweet. This is not as sweet. I have to say, I've never smelled anything quite like this. Vaguely reminding me of Music for a While. Let's see what the notes are. Okay, in the top, ginger, apple, mandarin, pineapple. Okay. Middle notes, lavender, juniper berry, geranium, leather, vetiver, patchouli. is something about it, though. There's something humming and underneath that I don't quite like. Musty, sharp smell that's sort of like right in the middle. It's sort of just poking at me every time I smell it. I'm gonna have to give this an 8, though. I do think it's interesting. And can't find a bottle of music for a while, but you want something with pineapple that's not a Ventus. This is a interesting thing you should probably try to sample. I'll give this an 8 for Bold as Love. All right, moving on, we have Insignia up next. Insignia. Completely different from anything we've smelled so far. Okay, so what is this? Fresh, woody, almost like tomato leafy. It has that tomato leaf, slightly fruity, slightly berry green sort of smell. Kind of pedestrian smell, honestly. Not as an insult. Like, this could easily be someone's signature scent. This could easily be worn in pretty much any occasion. But it still is, I'd say it's fairly unique. It has this, it has this distinct, interesting, fruity nature about it that I can only describe as maybe tomato leaf, maybe it's fig. I would say this is, again, fairly pedestrian. It's a very good smell. It's fresh. I would say it's inoffensive. I don't really think anyone would bat an eye. It's not blowing me away, though. I don't really think I'll try this on skin later. It reminds me of an Aedes de Venustus, actually. The one with tomato leaf. Maybe it's Signature? This is Insignia. I'm gonna have to give the maybe about a 6.5. Next up is Fanfare. Let me reset. Let me compose myself. Okay, I didn't like that first smell I got of it. Oh, completely different. Wow, whoa. It went through that like little 10-second change and it just completely different. Okay, I'm getting immediately something that reminds me of Roja Burlington 1819. It has this very rindy, realistic smelling, like grapefruity, citrusy thing going on, but in like a spicy way. I don't get the cumin, though. There's no like cumin-y thing going on here. I'm not really getting much else. It's this sort of inoffensive, beautiful, citrusy, uplifting thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. I mean, I can't give this higher than a 7, though. I just don't think it's very unique. And last but not least, hopefully at least, this is Bohemian Infusion. Okay, right off the bat, it reminded me of actually a part of Roja fragrance. Actually, it reminded me of Apex Parfum. Woody, very spicy, green, sort of slightly herbaceous. That's funny, actually. I go in Fragrantica. The number 1 fragrance this reminds people of is Roja Apex. It there it is. I knew it. I gotta be honest, though. Go for the Roja. Go for the Roja. I hate to say it, but I can tell you the Roja's higher quality, especially the Parfum. Yeah, this doesn't have the same body as the Roja. It doesn't have the same depth. It does smell, to my nose at least, a little bit less detailed. Because of its similarity to Roja Apex, and the fact that I think that's actually just worse than Roja Apex, I'm gonna have to give this a 6.5. It's not really too inspiring or unique to me. That's Bohemian Infusion. And with that, we have sampled all of them. And I think I'm going to put Bold as Love on skin because I want to see what this does on skin. So let's do that, shall we? Well, I'm just going to do 2 sprays on my arm here. Okay. 2 sprays on my arm. I think I gave this the highest rating out of all of the ones that I smelled. Let's see what it does on skin. Once again, I could literally taste it. These are pretty potent fragrances, guys, I have to say. If I give them nothing else, they don't slouch on the potency factor except for the citrusy one, which was Fanfare. But I don't personally really fault citrusy or fresh scent profiles for not lasting too long. I actually like sacrificing some longevity in a fresh scent profile for maintaining that naturalistic, very realistic, rindy, citrusy experience. Okay, so Bold as Love. Let's dry down for a little bit. Very weird. God, it is a bizarre fragrance, I have to say. There's something about it that I want to describe so badly, but I can't. It has this crazy bitter fruitiness. Yeah, bitter, fruity, slightly herbaceous, but in a way that you've never smelled before. This is like pineapple, but with everything cut away from the pineapple. This isn't pineapple concentrated into like a, like a smoothie or something, or like smashed to a pulp, at least not on skin. This is like a hollow smelling pineapple with some like herbaceous lavender in there. Maybe something else on the top that's giving it some citrusy lift. Like maybe like, I don't know. I think they listed orange. I do get the orange. I'm not sure I necessarily like it, to be honest with you. I don't know. I might actually downgrade it now that it's on skin all the way down to maybe like a 6.5. So that was sampling Thameen London. I always love introducing myself to new brands. I did really enjoy sampling these. I've been curious about these for a long time. If you're curious about anything that I've sampled in this video, but maybe you're put off by, some of my opinions, fragrances are completely subjective. If you're interested, go for it. Try it. It can't hurt. Just make sure you, make sure you're interested. Don't just go willy-nilly buying a bunch of stuff. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me during the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, if you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe, hit the like button. Going to be ranking my entire Amouage collection at 5,000 subscribers. That's going to be really difficult. I'm still struggling placing some of them as I get to know them even more, wearing them at night in anticipation for having to record that video. And I have some Amouages on the way, so I don't want to rush the rating either. That's something I'm really trying to avoid. I don't want to give like fake ratings or like poser ratings, if that makes sense. So yeah, might have to leave some of them off the list, which wouldn't be ideal, but if I got to do it, I got to do it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.